Obviously, I have had the pleasure to study with you and become a breath worker, and I've done months and months of conscious, aware breath work and guided people through it as well as a breath coach. And I'm just kind of, my mind is now, going all over the place, thinking that what is the ripple effect for business in breathwork? Is there something that we can actually take to workplaces? Because I know that the breath can regulate your nervous system. You can dissipate the stress. You can really self-soothe yourself. You can also, create more energy, without needing to get into coffee and whatever stimulants. So, what would you say would be a ripple effect for business, and maybe then the ripple effect for the world?
Well, it starts with the person who got the idea and the incentive and the energy to run the business. It's got to start from that original core. And I worked with so many business owners, CEOs, people who wanted whatever it would take to be more successful. And what it would take is, first of all, not grabbing for some quick fix or finding some secret media platform, or what it took is for them to become enlivened, for them to start that ripple with their coworkers, with their partners, with their employees, because the ripple has got to start somewhere, and it starts with you. It starts with the business. Ironically, what's happened as people have become more aware and have opened business owners is some of them then have translated that into the workplace. And I was so enthused about this that I actually started a separate business called In Wellness, primarily to take wellness principles, and one of the primary ones was full breathing, into the business world. And so we had employees come to do in-house seminars, and we taught them breathing, but it all had to start with someone who themselves experienced it and were enthusiastic about it. And ironically, again, as I say, for example, I was working with a gentleman who had been passed on a very successful logistics business. And his father had founded this business, had set it up, and it was large, it was expansive across the United States. It had many different divisions in it. And I worked with him for a while, and we looked at who to train and how to get the right people working with the right employees, all of that good stuff. But as he personally began to open up and evolve using breath work, he recognized that wasn't his passion, is to run his father's business. And in not long, he had turned it over and had moved on. He now has a highly successful business as a resort owner in Costa Rica.
Wow, beautiful.
And he's found the love of his life, and he just
I'm sure his father is very happy too.
well, probably not immediately,
Yeah.
but deep inside, all parents want the best for their children, even though their mind says, oh, the best means ex-business and son gets taken over. When they see the joy that emanates and the different form of success that comes, again, it's one of my kind of esoteric beliefs, But I think there's a soul contract that goes on between parents and children. And it is about the evolution and joy of both parties. That's what they come into life for. And so this then is the ripple effect that the business owner takes on with his partners, his employees, and the customers. Because when everyone is in a more joyful state, everyone wants a piece of that.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
care what you're selling. I'll have some of that.
It's I think that's so true, Jim. I heard recently that people don't buy what you sell them. They don't buy your product. They buy the feeling that you provide through your service or your product.
Exactly.
So I really, really love that. And, you know, the ripple effect of one person just, you know, having that shift or being aware of their own breath, and then aware of their own purpose or their own soul purpose, and then, you know, having the courage then to make that decision, and that changes everything. So I wonder what you see, you know, as you work with more and more people around the world, more and more business owners and individuals who are, you know, who are literally, you know, breathing and, you know, becoming aware of themselves, and, you know, allowing themselves to feel that natural joy and pleasure, because you talked about going from the office to nature. You know, what do you see what's your vision for the change or transformation that's possible within society generally, if more and more of us are able to go back to, you know, what originally we would have known naturally to do, to breathe?
Yes. Well, the fear that's instilled in people who have created a structure and have an investment in that structure staying solid and being passed on is that too much ingenuity or too much change, or people getting to do what they want at work. Imagine. The whole thing would fall apart. The whole thing would fall apart. And this, of course, is a great challenge in the modern business world, is what's called the millennials just aren't that interested in money. They're not incentivized by a pat on the back, or, you know, they want to enjoy their work. They want to have more say and freedom in it. What's that about? Well, it's a change in consciousness. So what you're talking about, Sue, here is really not just a new technique, or now everyone breathes and everyone feels better. It's a shift actually in our base consciousness, in our basic belief systems about life. And breath work in my world and what I've done is particularly useful as people are making the shift in their whole value system in life. So it's not that breath itself just magically changes everything, but breath opens us up to examine what are our basic tenets and beliefs in our life. Is it grind as hard as you can, get as much resources squandered away for yourself, retire, and then enjoy life? Well, you see, that model hasn't really produced a lot of enjoyment by the time people have practiced being tense their whole life. You know, it takes big magic even to go on vacation. You have to go to a faraway place and wear vestments, you know, with palm trees, and drink elixirs with umbrellas in. And now I'm enjoying myself. Yes,
yes, let's be happy. Everybody must be happy.
Right. And so what we're talking about here, the real ripple effect is our change in consciousness. And breath work is a tool. I think it's one of the most elegant of tools to do that, but it's only one tool. There's many tools that we have in order to shift our belief systems and support one another in that process. I personally think business is in the vanguard of consciousness shift. I think business does not have the restraints of political and government institutions. It crosses national boundaries. It relies on actually what's successful, what works. Is to say what sells soap, what actually people are wanting. And they're wanting it because, not because it just gives a quick hit, momentary sense of happiness. Most ads that we see on the media or television, as Sue is saying, are not so much about the product as the feeling behind them. It's like, well, you are not being popular. Obviously, your life is more miserable. But if you brush with gleep, your smile will be bright and radiate. And you see the person who's brushed with gleep being a radiant person, and people are admiring them and wanting to date them. And it's like they're selling the feeling. It could be a car, it could be a line of clothes, it could be whatever it is. What's being sold there is the idea that when you have this, you will feel better about yourself and people will feel better about you. So we're a savvy world now, and not everyone just watches a commercial and okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah, and what we've been talking about consumers turning into prosumers, who actually now are putting their money into products and services that they feel are matching their own values. Yes. And especially during COVID, we've seen that people have started to think about meaning of their lives, yes, especially their works. And the recent statistics that I looked said that lots and lots of people are actually leaving their jobs and setting new businesses. Yep. Because they feel that they can actually make a difference. They can do something better. They can have more meaning and purpose and mission in their lives, and they want to change the world. Ultimately, that's what people do. But I really like what you said earlier, Jim, that it all starts from within. The transformation is internal. You never change anybody, or you don't change the world. It's you that actually needs to change first, create that consciousness, create that awareness, and then that starts having that ripple effect.
Absolutely. And if you say to the person, say, working in a job right now, well, go ahead, quit your job and start your own business. Well, now what would they need to do that? Well, they would need, first of all, not to be scared witless about the whole process of not having an income, and so the dealing with the fear is number one, and that's where the breath work comes in. Breath work doesn't delude you into, oh, now I can walk across the freeway and no car will hit me. No, it's not making you delusional, but it's taking away some of the primary survival fears. It helps you recognize that you can be stuck in survival and go on the rest of your life that way, and helps you start to experiment bit by bit. For person A, maybe quitting their job and starting that dream of theirs is terrific. But for person B, that jumping off the end of the pier is not advisable. It would put them in greater fear. And so we work intelligently with what's right for and it doesn't mean that everyone should quit their job. No. Because whenever I feel stuck, I've got two choices: to change my mind or change the scene. And so I can bring a lot more resourcefulness and joy to my job by changing my attitude, by being aware of when I get tense, by giving myself more options than I thought the boss was giving me. Well, it wasn't the boss. It was me that's thinking I had to interpret what the boss said very literally and get his smiley face going every moment of the day. And I put so much attention on that I don't do my work. It's like, so yes, that base fear of survival keeps getting reduced as I become more and more resourceful, and I live in a world that promotes that, that champions that. Again, I just want to thank you, Anne and Sue, for helping to promote that world. This is exactly what's needed, because you both kind of look like you enjoy what you're doing.
We certainly have fun.
We do.
Exactly. And so you can't just broadcast about it. You embody it. You're like the person that's brushed with gleep. You know?
I'm now wondering whether gleep is a real thing. What came to mind, Jim, as you were talking there? The tiger came back. And so to me, the way I kind of understood it was that, when we breathe in a way that's aligned to us, to our unique system, and, we have that awareness, we're then able to distinguish between true fear, which would be there's a tiger, there's a real tiger coming towards me. Right. What am I going to do? Compared to a perceived fear, which could be the perceived fear of starting a business, which millions of people, more and more millions of people are doing every day. The perceived fear of what is my boss is thinking. So it sounds that when we are able to breathe in a way that's really aligned and true for us and natural, we have those resources to be able to make those decisions and actually make probably more informed decisions and better decisions, because the chances are that there isn't a tiger in the workplace.
Well, I'm glad this is being recorded, Sue, because that was so beautifully put on your part. Now here's a little shift that you can pass on if you choose, but I'm going to state it out loud. And that is, the ultimate truth is that everyone is self-employed.
Yeah.
Everyone has made the decision of who they want to hire to assist them in earning a living. And so some people go out and take their lunch pail to the workplace and hire a manufacturing firm to do things that they don't want to do. For example, go out and get clients and sell products of steel and do advertising and marketing. They don't want to do that. They hire this company to do that for them so that they can go there and focus on the assembly line and do something that's routine and listen to their music, or feel calm that they can go home at night and not worry about the bottom line stock market price of the goods that they're making. They have hired that boss and they can fire them at any time they want if they're not doing the job that they hired them for. So what this shift in consciousness does is then people see, wait a minute, am I running my business accurately and successfully? My contract with this boss was that I would get, with this person called boss that I hired, is that I would get X number of weeks of vacation and a pay raise every year. And that hasn't been happening. I better check in with them about what's going on. Get them on the ball here. Let's go have a conference. What about this pay raise? What do we, and da 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 da. And so, again, when fear is taken away, I am then empowered to make my workplace better because I'm the one that's hired it.
Yeah, I like that. That's like radical responsibility. It's like really taking that responsibility of your own situation and the way you are reacting to the situation where you are at, the environment that you have chosen. I think that's a very beautiful paradigm shift, really, to start thinking about what your life is all about. And and not just in business, but actually being the owner of your business called life, as it were.
Exactly. And the empowerment to the business of your life is right there under your nose. It's not something you have to go to Tibet and learn special techniques. It's not go to business school and learn marketing. It's right there as we become aware that we can change our feeling, we can change our attitudes, we can become more resourceful today, not at the end of the podcast, not when we graduated from therapeutic breathwork school, but it starts with my owning that. And so here's my commercial. I didn't tell you there was going to be a commercial here. Well, this is my commercial.
not about toothpaste, please, or toothbrushes.
No. This is about whitening your aura, not your teeth.
Oh.
Yeah. This is about a daily practice. And this is my sponsor. I'm in contract to do this commercial. It's like having a daily connection with source is the way that starts the ball rolling. So every day having some practice that brings you back to source. Now, breath is my particular brand, but I have others too. I do physical exercise, I do Tai Chi, I do journaling, I do, a number of things. But, and I'm not selling, it's got to be my brand of daily practice. In fact, that wouldn't work. It would absolutely not work. You'd try it for a while and then you, meh. So, but finding your own, finding what starts you out each day that sets you on the course that you want, your highest course, and what will maintain you there. And then at the end of the day, acknowledging what you've done. So breath work is not just learning to breathe in a different way. It's breathing with a positive intention. And the most positive of intentions that I know of is gratitude. So I start out each day doing some breathing, but also writing down gratitude. I start out each day writing down some gratitudes, doing breathing, and then my intention for the day, what I dedicate the day to. And then just like a breathwork session, great. I have dedicated, for example, I wrote you down today. When I got up, I wrote down, I want to have a successful time with ecstatic empowerment with Ann and Sue. It's right here in my journal.
Yay!
And so having an intention and writing that down is what sets the course. But then, you can have a roadmap that says, hey, here's how you get from Bristol to London. But along the way, there's detours and bumps in the road and things, and so you have to go with the flow. That's the yin and the yang of life. The yang is I have gratitude and I set the intention, and the yin is then I go with the flow during the day, and then I'm back to in the evening saying, hey, I acknowledge that was successful. Thank you. Again, gratitude and what my dedication for evening class is. Because we're all in school at night too.
Yeah. So Jim, we're coming to a close now, and I've so enjoyed meeting you and having this conversation. It's just I know for myself, I'm going to replay it numerous times. There's so many beautiful nuggets that you've slipped in there. I just wondered, in a nutshell, we've talked about ecstatic and empowerment, and I just wondered, for you, in a nutshell, what does ecstatic empowerment mean to you, or what do you feel when you hear those words?
Well, see, Sue, you're right on it. It's like, not just what does it mean to you? You said, what does it feel to you? See, that is so great. I love that, Sue, because that's where the juice is. And that's why I love the term ecstatic empowerment, because empowerment, of course, is bandied about all over the world now. But empowerment can have a sense of, okay, now I'm empowered. That means I've got more responsibilities. I've got more things to do. I can now see that I can't just be a slacker and pretend that I don't have the ability to change the world. Now I know I can, and I better get to doing it. You know, like, that doesn't sound very pleasurable. I want to go back to be disempowered, where I can just hang out and have a good time. You know? So an empowerment that is ecstatic. Now you got the yin and the yang together. Now you've got the whole ball of wax that makes it joyful and eminently more attractive and successful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I think that's the beautiful way to stop this episode. And I think our intention for having you as our guest has been extremely successful. And I really want to say, on my and Sue's behalf, big thank you. This has been an absolutely amazing, beautiful session. So much fun, so much energy, so much, as Sue said, golden nuggets that you've given to us and to our listeners. And I want to say thank you so much.
Oh, Anne and Sue, right back at you. As I said, even calling it ecstatic empowerment is setting ripples out into the world. You know, people are ecstatic. Like, what's ecstasy got to do with life? You know,
what does it not have to do with life?
Yeah, you put it right out there. It's like right in your face. This is where we're going. So thank you so much. It's truly been a joy to spend the time with both of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.